Men do not marry the love of their lives. There's a man called Michael. Michael sat at the wedding table, smiling at the hundreds of guests who had gathered to celebrate his big day. His bride, Sophia, was radiant in her flowing white gown, her laughter filling the air like soft music. Friends toasted, families clapped, and the cameras flashed endlessly. It was supposed to be the happiest day of his life. But deep inside Michael's chest, something twisted. Because across the ballroom, standing quietly at the corner near the exit, was a woman who once held his entire world in her hands, Amara. Michael and Amara had met 8 years earlier, when he was still a struggling young man. He was broke, uncertain about his future, yet Amara loved him with a fire that made him believe he could conquer anything. She believed in his dreams even when he doubted himself. She was his first everything, his first true love, his first heartbreak, his first taste of what it meant to belong to someone soul deep. But love isn't always enough. Life threw storms their way, his unstable career, her family's disapproval, endless arguments about timing and survival. They wanted to build a life together, but reality demanded sacrifices neither was ready to make. Slowly, painfully, they drifted apart. Michael thought time would heal him. It didn't. Years later, when success finally found him, Amara was gone. Not dead, just out of reach. She had built her own life, one that no longer had space for him. By then, Sophia had entered his world, gentle, supportive, practical. She wasn't fire like Amara, she was calm water. She wasn't the love that stole his breath, she was the comfort that steadied his steps. And so, when it was time to settle down, Michael chose Sophia. Not because he didn't love Amara, but because sometimes men don't marry the women who shake their souls, they marry the ones who give them peace. Now, as the wedding laughter swirled around him, Michael caught Amara's eyes across the room. She had come only to wish him well, but her smile was faint, bittersweet. It was the smile of a woman who knew she would forever be the love of his life, even if she would never be his wife. For a moment, the noise of the hall faded, and it was just them, the man who loved too deeply, and the woman who couldn't stay. Michael looked away, tightening his grip on Sophia's hand. His wife, his choice, his reality. And in that moment, he understood the cruel truth life had taught him. Men do not always marry the love of their lives. They marry the woman who arrives when love is no longer enough, when stability, timing, and peace take the crown. Michael was a dreamer, ambitious, restless, hungry for success. In his 20s, he fell deeply for Amara. She wasn't just beautiful, she was fire and calm all at once. The kind of woman who believed in his vision even when it was nothing but sketches on paper and long talks under the stars. Amara would bring him food when he worked late nights. She would pray for him, encourage him, and remind him that he was destined for greatness. And Michael loved her, truly. But every time Amara spoke about marriage, he froze. Not yet, Amara. I need to build more first. I need to be ready. She would smile, but her heart cracked a little more each time. Years rolled by. Amara waited. She gave him patience, loyalty, love. But how long could love wait? One evening, after yet another argument about when, Amara whispered with trembling lips, "Michael, I don't want to be just a chapter in your story. I want to be your forever. But if you keep delaying, I might not be here when you're ready." Michael looked at her with guilt, but pride and fear tied his tongue. He let her walk away. Life moved on. Michael built his empire. His name became known in business circles. He finally had the money, the house, the car, the kind of life he once dreamed of. But every victory felt hollow, because Amara wasn't there to share it. He saw her once at a wedding. She looked radiant, smiling in another man's arms. His heart shattered. She had moved on, married, and built the life she wanted, with someone who was ready. Michael realized then, men don't always marry the love of their life. They marry when they are finally ready. Years later, when Michael was 36, he met Ifinanya. She wasn't Tamara. She didn't know his struggles from the start. She hadn't seen him when he was broke and chasing dreams. But she was there, gentle, caring, and patient. For the first time in his life, Michael was ready. Ready to love fully. Ready to commit. Ready to be the husband he once couldn't be for Amara. And so, he married Ifinanya. Climax and bittersweet twist. On On his wedding day, as Iphigenia walked down the aisle, Michael's eyes welled with tears. Everyone thought it was joy, but deep inside, he knew those tears carried two stories. One for the love he lost because he wasn't ready, and one for the love he gained because he finally was. Iphigenia became his partner, his peace, his family. She wasn't his first love, but she was his last, and that, in the end, was enough.